counting down the top 15 most spectacular lodges in the world, starting with number 15, the Awani Hotel. The Awani Hotel, located in Yosemite National Park, is a stunning example of rustic architecture. It was built by the Yosemite Park and Curry Company, and it opened in 1927. The 150,000-square-foot Y-shaped building features 97 rooms, parlors, and suites, along with 24 cottages, all showcasing original Native American designs. It was designed by Gilbert Stanley Underwood. Now, this hotel harmonizes with its natural surroundings and is renowned as a masterpiece of parkitecture. The interior, initially envisioned with a Mayan revival theme, was ultimately crafted by Arthur Upham Pope and Phyllis Ackerman. Their design blended Art Deco, Native American, Middle Eastern, and arts and crafts styles. The grand dining room, with its 34-foot ceiling supported by rock columns, offers a cathedral-like experience. Originally meant to seat about 1,000 people, it now accommodates just about 350, retaining an expansive kitchen designed for fine dining and special events. The Great Lounge, another remarkable space, features large fireplaces and floor-to-ceiling plate glass windows with stained glass accents. The Awani's elegance and historical significance are further highlighted by its influence on popular culture. The hotel's interiors inspired sets for the Overlook Hotel in Stanley Kubrick's horror film, The Shining. And today, guests can enjoy regular entertainment such as live piano music during dinner time, amidst the grandeur of this iconic lodge. Number 14, the Omni Mount Washington Resort. Located in the landscapes of Bretton Woods in New Hampshire, the Omni Mount Washington Resort stands out for its classic elegance and the natural beauty of the surrounding White Mountains. This iconic resort, established in 1902 by railroad tycoon Joseph Stickney, is a remarkable example of Spanish Renaissance revival architecture. It covers 10,000 acres. This hotel offers guests breathtaking views of Mount Washington and showcases advanced technology for its time, such as the steel superstructure, an innovative heating system, and an electric power plant. In 1944, the resort gained some historical significance by hosting the United Nations Monetary and Financial Conference, known as the Bretton Woods Conference. This event brought delegates from 44 nations together to establish the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, institutions that continue to influence global finance and development. Although often rumored to have inspired Stephen King's The Shining, the true inspiration for the Overlook Hotel was the Stanley Hotel in Colorado. Nevertheless, the Omni Mount Washington Resort is steeped in ghost lore. One of its most famous spectral residents is Carolyn Stickney, the widow of the hotel's original owner, who is said to still haunt the grounds. Now, interestingly, during the hotel's construction, Italian artisans incorporated supernatural safeguards based on folklore, such as altering the number of steps and staircases to confuse spirits. But despite the ghoulish rumors, the lodge has hosted numerous high-profile guests, including Thomas Edison, Joan Crawford, Prince Margaret, and 3 U.S. presidents. The combination here of luxurious amenities, rich history, and stunning surroundings makes the Omni Mount Washington Resort an unforgettable escape. Number 13, the Montaña Magica Lodge. Located in the jungles of Chile's Huilo Huilo Biological Reserve, the Montaña Magica Lodge is a unique and enchanting waterfall hotel that evokes the charm of a fantastical world. Though it appears to be a natural stone spire, it's actually a man-made structure built using locally sourced lumber and stone. The lodge forms a tall cone from which water cascades down the sides, weaving between the guest windows and the lush jungle foliage. Inside, the lodge's cozy suites, each named after a local bird species, come equipped with modern amenities comparable to high-end hotels in more accessible areas. The charm of the Montaña Lodge extends beyond the architecture. Guests here can relax in hot tubs crafted from hollowed-out tree trunks, filled with hot water and set out on a deck overlooking the forest. Reaching this extraordinary destination requires a bit of effort, as it's located at least 2 hours from the nearest airfield. However, the journey is a small price to pay for the opportunity to stay in a place like this that seems straight out of Middle-earth. It not only provides a unique lodging experience, but also immerses guests in stunning beauty and biodiversity of the Huilo Huilo Reserve. With its cascading waterfall, lush surroundings, and myriad activities, it offers an unforgettable retreat into nature's wonders. Number 12, Crater Lake Lodge. Crater Lake Lodge, established in 1915, provides overnight accommodations in the stunning setting of Crater Lake National Park in southern Oregon. Perched on the southwest rim of the Crater Lake caldera, this lodge offers views of the lake 1,000 feet below. It's managed by the National Park Service, and it's listed on the National Register of Historic Places and has been a member of the Historic Hotels of America program since 2012. The creation was driven by William Gladstone Steele, who, after accompanying the 1886 Geological Survey of Crater Lake, advocated for the establishment of the park. In 1902, President Theodore Roosevelt signed the bill making Crater Lake the 6th national park in the U.S. Steele's vision for a guest lodge took shape when Portland developer Alfred Parkhurst was persuaded to build the lodge on the rim above Crater Lake in 1909. Despite the challenges, including heavy snowfall, poor roads, and a short construction season, the lodge was completed in 1915 with a simple design to manage costs. Originally, the lodge itself had no private bathrooms and minimal electricity. In 1967, the National Park Service acquired Crater Lake Lodge, and by 1981, it was listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Public opposition led to a decision to renovate the lodge, which began in 1989 and was completed in 1994 at a cost of about $15 million. The Great Hall here was meticulously dismantled and restored, while the rest of the building was upgraded with modern amenities and safety features. Today, the lodge operates with 71 rooms offering a mix of historic charm and contemporary comfort. Visitors can learn about the lodge's history through exhibits and enjoy the natural beauty of Crater Lake. The lodge continues to be a beloved destination, embodying a rich history and offering unparalleled scenic vistas. Number 11. Manny Glacier Hotel. The Manny Glacier Hotel is a historic hotel situated on the eastern shore of the Swift Current Lake in Glacier National Park, Montana, in the United States. It was designed in a Swiss Alpine theme. The hotel consists of a series of chalet-style buildings that rise up to 4 stories high and extend along the lakeshore. The foundation is constructed of stone, while the superstructure is wood, finished with brown painted wood siding. Inside, the 4-story lobby is encircled by balconies featuring railings patterned after Swiss designs. Construction began in 1914 and was completed in just a year, opening on July 4, 1915. This project was an effort by Lewis W. Hill, president of the Great Northern Railway and son of James J. Hill, to promote Glacier National Park as a premier destination. Hill envisioned the area as the American Alps and chose a Swiss chalet style for the park's hotels. The Glacier Park Lodge and Manny Glacier Hotel were intended to be the central attractions, with the backcountry chalets designed to lure visitors out to explore the wilderness. The hotel maintains its historic charm, with most rooms offering views of Swift Current Lake or the surrounding mountains. It's a contributing property in the National Historic Landmark Great Northern Railway Buildings District, and it's a member of the Historic Hotels of America, this official program of the National Trust. Manny Glacier Hotel includes 2 suites, 7 family rooms, and 205 guest rooms, with lodging options categorized as Lakeside, Deluxe, Standard, and Value. Number 10. El Tovar Hotel. The El Tovar Hotel, commonly referred to as El Tovar, is a historic former Harvey House hotel located on the south rim of the Grand Canyon in Arizona. It was designed by Charles Whittlesey, the chief architect for the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railways. The hotel opened its doors in 1905. It was part of a chain of hotels and restaurants operated by the Fred Harvey Company, strategically situated near the Grand Canyon Depot, which lies only 300 feet away. El Tovar is one of the few Harvey House facilities still in operation today and represents an early example of the style that evolved into National Park Service rustic architecture. The hotel has been featured in the 1983 film National Lampoon's Vacation, so it may look familiar. Constructed from local limestone and Oregon pine, the hotel's lower sections are primarily log-built, while the upper levels feature framed construction with sheathing and planking. The central portion is a 2-story structure topped with a turret and a pyramidal roof, flanked by wings of varying heights, resulting in roof decks. The lobby, located behind a broad entry veranda, extends 4 stories, while the guest wing creates a semi-octagonal space known as the Grotto. The central rotunda in the lobby features Swiss-inspired cutout wood railings and peeled log posts, all varnished dark brown set against southwestern patterned carpets. Initially, the hotel had 103 guest rooms and 21 guest bathrooms. Today, it offers 78 rooms, all with private baths. El Tovar opened before the Grand Canyon became a formally protected federal park. The Grand Canyon Game Preserve was established by President Theodore Roosevelt's executive order in 1906, followed by the Grand Canyon National Monument in 1908, and then finally the Grand Canyon National Park in 1919. The Santa Fe Railway anticipated increased traffic to the Grand Canyon, and they expanded their hotel's initial design, which was carried out by Whittlesey with a budget of $250,000. El Tovar set a precedent for destination resorts in national parks, offering a blend of rustic charm and modern comfort. Roosevelt himself stayed here during his visits to the Grand Canyon in 1911 and 13, even writing a book about his 1913 trip. Number 9. Sosu Desert Lodge. The first impression of this lodge is from the sky. As you descend about 1.5 hours in the air over craggy canyons and khaki desert, barren except for the occasional leafless tree and ribbons of dried riverbed. Upon landing on the private airstrip, essentially a long rectangle of organized rocks in the sand, the central building appears like a rusted sail emerging from the lone hill. From the airstrip, the 11 suites scattered on either side of the lodge are barely visible. This lodge underwent a 9-month, $3 million rebuild, leaving only a few walls from the original lodge and suites to address the dwindling animal population. The lodge has 10 one-bedroom suites and a singular 2-bedroom suite. The one-bedroom suite features floor-to-ceiling frameless windows on nearly 3 sides, providing unobstructed views. The interior is subdued, mirroring the exterior environment with khakis, browns, and occasional pops of black spread across natural fabrics and furniture. A favorite feature is the turn-down service, which includes the opening the room skylight, offering a view of the Milky Way from your bed. With only around 24 guests at any time, the service is personal and focused. You'll have the same housekeeper, guide, and waiter throughout your stay, making it easy to establish a routine in such a foreign environment. At each meal, the lodge's activities manager, Vernon Swanepoel, will stop by your table to check in on what you want to do that day, and there's no set schedule for you. The choose-your-own-adventure style menu offers opportunities for e-biking around the lodge's 12-mile path, hiking to rock paintings in the surrounding caves, driving quad bikes over the dunes, or taking a sunset nature drive through the reserve. Number 8. Dalvey by the Sea. Dalvey by the Sea is a National Historic Site of Canada located on the north shore of Prince Edward Island at the eastern end of Prince Edward Island National Park. The hotel is a popular attraction for visitors to Prince Edward Island and has been featured in the Anne of Green Gables movies. Prince William, Duke of Cambridge, and Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge, visited Dalvey by the Sea during their 2011 royal tour of Canada. William took part in training exercise with the Canadian Forces, executing a waterbird emergency landing procedure. In 1895, a wealthy Scots-born American industrialist, Alexander MacDonald, discovered the area while on vacation on Prince Edward Island. He and his wife became so enamored with the area that MacDonald purchased 120 acres of land and commissioned a house to be built there. Construction costs were about $50,000, and the lower half of the house was constructed with island sandstone in its natural form. Water and power were supplied by a series of windmills. The MacDonalds kept a number of servants, including grooms to look after the many horses and carriages owned by the family, and it cost about $10,000 a year to operate it. They enjoyed the house for over a decade, but by 1909, Alexander MacDonald was not in good health, and at the end of that summer, he stood for the last time at Long Pond gazing at his house before quietly saying, "Goodbye, Dalvey." He died in Long Beach, California in 1910. After his passing, the property was left to MacDonald's granddaughters. Since they were underage at the time, it was managed by their father. Due to some bad investments, though, the $15 million Alexander fortune dwindled to nothing and the estate had to be sold. The property itself was tended by William Hughes since the death of Alexander. When he contacted the family to ask what should be done with the place, they told him he could have it for the back taxes. Hughes bought the house and furnishings for $486.57. Well, he had no interest in keeping it, so he sold it to William O'Leary of Montreal. The O'Learys removed most of the furniture, and eventually it was sold to Captain Edward Dix. Dix renovated the house, intending to turn it into a hotel. However, he ran out of money. In time, George de Blois acquired the property. In 1938, de Blois sold the house and land to the Government of Canada. Now, since then, the house has been operated as a hotel by operators under a leased concession from Parks Canada. There are 26 guest rooms, all furnished with period antiques. Moving on to number 7, the Zion Lodge. The Zion Lodge is in Zion National Park in Utah in the United States. The lodge was designed in 1924 as a compromise solution between its developer, the Utah Parks Company, which wanted a large hotel, and the National Park Service director Stephen Mather, who desired a smaller scale development. The Utah Parks Company had been formed in 1923 as a subsidiary of the Union Pacific Railroad and was, like many similar programs, intended to stimulate passenger rail traffic to the national parks. Gilbert Stanley Underwood designed the Zion Lodge as part of a series of similar structures for the Utah Parks Company. Underwood used less stonework and smaller pieces. The structures were designed to be more in keeping with the character of the valley floor, which at the time of its construction was still inhabited by settlers. A fire in 1966 destroyed the original lodge, but it was rebuilt within 100 days. But the original rustic look was lost in favor of reopening the lodge. A 1990 remodel restored the original look. In addition to the main lodge building, there are a number of original buildings that remain there in the complex. This includes guest cabins built in 1927 and 29, employee dormitories built in 1927 and 37, and a few support buildings. They were all designed by Underwood. And an interesting side note, on April 12, 1995, a landslide blocked the Virgin River downstream from the lodge. Over a period of 2 hours, the river had carved away 590 feet of the only exit road from the canyon, trapping 450 guests and employees in the lodge. Access to the lodge was restored on May 25th that year, and Zion Lodge is a member of the Historic Hotels of America, the official program of the National Trust for Historic Preservation. Number 6. The Masonic Lodge of the Andes Hotel. Freemasonry is renowned for its discretion, keeping its opulence secret, but the Andes Hotel's Masonic temple became too secret for its own good and was forgotten for years until it was surprisingly found during later construction. Built adjacent to London's Liverpool Street train station in 1884, the Great Eastern Hotel was one of the city's original railway hotels. Typically impressive in size, these buildings were designed as a symbolic demonstration of a rail transport's wealth. However, when the tourism industry boomed, hotels of all sizes sprang up across the city, and cars gradually replaced trains as the primary mode of transport. Almost a century after its opening, the Great Eastern Hotel found a new destiny through designer Terence Conran, who decided to polish the landmark by getting rid of the outdated interiors and giving the building an ambitiously chic makeover. During the restoration, engineers noticed a few discrepancies in the blueprints. Then, like something out of an adventure movie, they removed one of the walls to find a wood-paneled antechamber, and on the other side of a studded double door, a vast and incredibly refined Masonic temple. Built in 1912, this forgotten chamber is a pure jewel of luxury, and it's probably one of the most grandiose Masonic temples in London. Neoclassical in style, the windowless room is now known as the Grecian Temple. The opulent room includes an organ, hand-carved mahogany chairs, bronze candelabras on claw feet, and no less than 12 different types of marble. A Masonic lodge in a hotel sounds a bit inappropriate nowadays, but in 19th century Great Britain it was unusual but not unheard of. At the time, being part of a fraternal organization was very popular among gentlemen, and railway hotels developed a large variety of facilities to become more competitive. Having a Masonic lodge was a plus if you wanted to attract certain class of patronage. In the case of the Great Eastern Hotel, Freemasons helped to construct the hotel, and they were secretly given a room that enabled them to gather for rites. Number 5. The Greyfield Inn. Cumberland Island, situated along the coast and part of the Georgian Golden Islands, is predominantly a component of the Cumberland Island National Seashore and owned by the National Park Service. This encompasses nearly 10,000 acres of protected land, maintaining its natural state while intermingling with grand plantations from another era, now in varying states of disrepair. When John F. Kennedy Jr. was looking for a private place to wed the ethereal beauty Carolyn Bessette in 1996, away from the media's gaze, he flew his small plane to a tiny airstrip on Cumberland Island, a wildly romantic and remote isle off the coast of Georgia. Stretching about 18 miles long, Cumberland is the largest of Georgia's 15 sea islands, about a third larger than Manhattan, yet it's got abundantly rich wildlife. Herds of wild horses, armadillos, bobcats, wild hogs, raccoons, and great flocks of migratory birds. The island was given its current name by the 13-year-old nephew of Chief Tomochichi, who visited England with Oglethorpe and struck up a teen friendship with Prince William, Duke of Cumberland, son of George II. However, it's the Carnegies, the American aristocrats who made their fortune in steel, who seem to have the most enduring legacy here. Thomas and Lucy Carnegie laid down roots in the 1880s, building an imposing 59-room Gothic mansion they named Dungeness as a winter retreat to escape the smog of Pittsburgh. The house, which at its peak had 200 servants, was abandoned after the Great Depression and then burnt down in 1959, allegedly by a disgruntled poacher who had been caught trapping a wild boar and shot in the leg by a caretaker. The singed ruins still stand proud, though, overlooking the marsh and beyond. Picnicking here or beachcombing the muddy beach for seashells or shark's teeth, a megalodon tooth maybe, is a must for day trippers or intrepid campers. However, if you want to experience Cumberland in style and a glimpse into the Carnegies' wild and private paradise, it's said that guests should head 2 miles north to the magical Grayfield Inn, a colonial revival mansion built in 1901. Number 4. The Nanju Lodge. Nestled in the forests of Lake Superior's North Shore in Minnesota, might appear just as another Northwoods resort at first glance, with its cedar-shingled exterior and windows offering views of the icy expanse of the Great Lake. Yet its interior is truly what sets it apart, hinting at the lodge's unique origins. Upon stepping inside, guests are greeted by a kaleidoscope burst of color in the dining room. However, this interior isn't a product of the 1970s, nor was it inspired by any Alice in Wonderland. The murals adorn the walls and ceilings of the lodge reflect an Art Deco style infused with native Cree design elements, remaining unchanged since the lodge opened its doors at the end of the Roaring '20s. Originally, the lodge served as the clubhouse for a members-only retreat established by a group of affluent Duluth businessmen. They envisioned the area as an exclusive sportsman's paradise and named their private club after Nanebozo, a trickster spirit and cultural hero of a tribe who also appeared in Cree mythology. Securing a 99-year lease on a 3,300-acre parcel of land, the ground was officially broken in March of 1928. Membership here was strictly controlled, available to only prominent and well-connected, with just 2 dissenting votes from the 24-member board, enough to blackball an applicant. Memberships were sold for just $200 or more, with Minnesota residents limited to 25% of the club's composition. Free memberships were bestowed upon the Jazz Age luminaries such as Babe Ruth, Jack Dempsey, and Ring Lardner. When the club opened in 1929, it did so with considerable fanfare. Visitors then, as now, were captivated by the clubhouse's 30 by 80-foot Great Hall, adorned with murals by French artist Antoine Gouffet. The room also has a 12-foot, 200-ton fireplace crafted entirely from native stone, purportedly the largest such fireplace in Minnesota. However, the year 1929 proved to be ill-fated for launching an expensive, elitist private club. The stock market crash in October plunged the nation into the Great Depression, leaving the club's members financially drained. Lacking public support, the club struggled to stay afloat and foreclosed in 1935. Over the ensuing decades, the property changed hands multiple times, with the clubhouse repurposed first as a hotel, then as a family-run resort lodge. Throughout the transitions, though, efforts were made to preserve the building's original elegance and design, leading to its inclusion in the National Register of Historic Places in 1982. Number 3. The Timberline Lodge. Film buffs around the world may recognize this one. Perched nearly 6,000 feet on the south side of Mount Hood, about 60 miles east of Portland, the Timberline Lodge stands as a symbol of resilience and craftsmanship. Built by the craftsmen of the WPA during the height of the Great Depression, the lodge is an example of the ingenuity and dedication of its creators. Crafted from large timbers and local stone, the lodge exudes a rustic charm. While the Timberline Lodge offers year-round enjoyment for snow sports enthusiasts, serving as a gateway to the slopes and summit of North America's tallest active volcano, it's perhaps best known to many as the Overlook Hotel from Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. However, contrary to popular belief, the lodge's interior bears little resemblance to the film's depiction. Only a few establishing shots of the Timberline Lodge were used in the movie, with all interior scenes filmed at Elstree Studios in England, using mock-ups of the lodge's exteriors. During Halloween, the lodge takes on a whole new persona, with Nike occasionally renting out the entire hotel to host a private, Shining-themed night of revelry. Complete with twins roaming the hallways and Danny riding around on his big wheel through the dining room, this event is a playful homage to the film. Well, despite its cinematic associations, Mount Hood itself can be a treacherous place, claiming over 130 lives throughout the last century. However, the Timberline Lodge itself boasts a thankfully calm, not-so-scary history. Constructed in under 15 months, not a single worker suffered a serious injury or lost their life during its construction. Number 2. Volcano House. Located within the grounds of Hawaii Volcanoes National Park on the island of Hawaii, the Volcano House stands as a landmark with a rich and storied past. Originally built in 1877 and listed on the National Register of Historic Places, the Volcano House has undergone several transformations throughout its history. In ancient Hawaii, the volcano was a sacred place where offerings were made to the fire goddess of Pele. Over the centuries, evidence of human activity, including the gathering of volcanic glass for tools, has been found in the area. The site gradually became a destination for explorers, with the first primitive shelter erected in the early 1840s. The Volcano House then evolved over time with various structures constructed to accommodate guests. Notable guests include Mark Twain, who penned his experiences in Roughing It after staying at the lodge. In 1912, geologist Thomas Jagger established a scientific observatory adjacent to the lodge, further cementing its association with the study of volcanic activity. However, tragedy struck in 1940 when a kitchen fire destroyed the main building of the Volcano House. Undeterred, owner George Lycurgus spearheaded the construction of a new, more elegant hotel designed by Charles William Dickey. The new building opened in 1941, featuring larger rooms and modern amenities. Today, the Volcano House remains the only public hotel within Hawaii's Volcanoes National Park, serving as a gateway for visitors to explore the awe-inspiring landscapes and volcanic wonders of the island. Number 1. Old Faithful Inn. Located in the breathtaking beauty of Yellowstone National Park, the Old Faithful Inn stands as a majestic example of the grandeur of rustic resort architecture and the enduring allure of the American West. Perched at an elevation about 7,300 feet above sea level, with a commanding view of the legendary Old Faithful Geyser, this historic inn offers guests an unparalleled experience. Constructed during the early 20th century, the inn's design pays homage to the rugged landscape that surrounds it, utilizing locally sourced materials such as lodgepole pine and rhyolite stone. Its multi-story log lobby, adorned with twisted branches and crowned by a steeply pitched roof, exudes a sense of rustic elegance. At the heart of the inn lies its iconic stone fireplace, a towering monument to warmth. At 16 square feet at the base, with 4 main hearths and smaller ones at the corners, this monumental fireplace has served as a gathering place for generations. The inn's dining room, with its log scissor trusses and own stone fireplace, provides guests with a culinary experience that is as memorable as it is delicious, whether savoring a hearty meal or simply soaking in the ambiance of the surroundings. Throughout its illustrious history, the Old Faithful Inn has undergone several expansions and renovations, yet its enduring appeal remains undiminished. As guests gather around the fireplace or gaze out at the majestic landscape, they become part of a tradition that stretches back over a century, a tradition of hospitality, heritage, and timeless beauty of Yellowstone National Park. Here, amidst the splendor of the American West, the Old Faithful Inn continues to stand as a beacon of warmth, welcome, and wonder for all those that seek solace and inspiration in the embrace of nature. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you next time. Thank you to our channel members.